Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the Knog Blinder Road 400 bicycle headlight. Since their 2012 introduction, the Knog Blinder Road lights have been popular lights among road cyclists. The Blinder Road lights offer compact and lightweight design with great output. Today we're going to be looking at the latest variation, the Blinder Road 400, which benefits from numerous improvements over the years in design and LED technology. In terms of packaging, they've gone very green. You can see cardboard box, minimal plastics, and the specs printed directly on there. This is the 400 version, but they also offer a 600 version. Specs printed on the side. And what's cool about this, they've actually added AR technology, so augmented reality. So if you grab your phone and have a QR app, you can just click on it, and then you'll see that little indicator actually gives you an AR version of the light, so you can actually interact with it and look at it in 3 dimensions. So a really cool feature, and because there's no window or plastics to kind of look inside, this is a great way to interact with the light and kind of see what you're going to get. So with that, let's go ahead and take it out of the box. So retail price on this is $69.95. It has 400 lumen output, and this features a dual LED design. You have a narrow beam combined with a wider beam, so you have mixed optics, so you can really optimize it for whatever you're trying to ride, your speed and environment. It's IP67 rated, which means it can actually go underwater up to 1 meter or more for up to 30 minutes, which is more than enough for most cycling. It has 8 output modes. You can either run each LED independently or run them together in constant modes or flash, and then high-low on each. What's also really cool about this, it has an integrated USB Type A connector directly in here. So you can actually just plug this in directly to your computer and charge it without needing another connector. In terms of what comes with it, obviously you get the light, a little protective film on there. You get a second strap, so this is the little clasp here. So there's a shorter one and then a longer one. So you can swap this out if you have a larger diameter handlebar. You get a little connector. Because of this port placement, it's not really placed that well, so you actually need some space beneath the charging port. So if you have a computer or something thinner where you don't have that extra space, you can actually connect this directly to the little adapter and then plug this directly into the port. You also have a little instruction manual in here. And again, you'll notice it's very minimal. There's no plastics in here at all, just simple cardboard and a basic quick start guide printed right here. Now let's take a look at the weight of the light. This is with the smaller attachment. So that comes in at 68 grams, so pretty lightweight. The Blinder Road 400 has a very compact and wide form factor. You can see it's really designed to hug up next to your handlebars and be wider instead of taller or longer. You can see the form factor is very sleek with a metal body, dual LEDs here. You can actually see the exposed screws. And despite that, it actually is IP67 rated, which is very high. You have nice fins integrated directly in here for heat dissipation, and then the back mount molded directly into it. This reminds me a lot of the specialized flux lights in terms of the visual design, but it uses a more common rubber strap style mount. What's unique about this mount is it combines the strap with this polycarbonate clasp, so a little more secure than a traditional simple rubber band. So you can see it has 2 pieces essentially. You have one side with this rubber and the other side has a flexible hook. So that's what's really nice about this. It can accommodate different handlebars, so it can go more narrow. If you have aero bars or standard road bars, it can go wider. And if you have a higher diameter, you can see this actually flexes. So very clever design. And then instead of just a rubber band to a hook, it's a rubber band through a little clasp. And then that little clasp goes under and into it. So easier to handle, and you don't have to really stretch this out as much. You simply pull this over and then up and on top. So nice, clever design. In terms of the LEDs, you have 2 of them. They're CREE LEDs with a white color. It has a narrow beam and then a wider beam. So the narrow beam is on the left when you're looking at it from the mounting location. And that has a 12-degree beam, so a little bit more focus, and that's great for faster, higher speed riding where you want to see further ahead of you. Then you have a wider beam on the right, which is 32 degrees. The main difference with this is you can actually see the reflector on the inside. This one has the dimples on there, while that one's more focused, so that helps it distribute the light more. And if you turn it on here, you can actually see that here, simple circular pattern. And if we switch to the other one, it's a more focused, or more distributed, so you can see that there. They're pretty subtle, but it helps with the actual distribution on the road, and you can pick the one that works for you. There's a total of 4 operation modes. You can run each LED independently. So you can run either both together, both of them flash, just the left, or just the right. And then within each mode, you can actually do a low-high. So it's a pretty simple interface. When you're in the high mode, there's a little indicator here that shows you're in high. And then when you're in normal mode, it turns off. This is also the location of the low battery indicator. This will turn red once you're less than about 15%. There is no other multi-level indicator, which is a little bit disappointing. It's always nice to have some way to check instead of just knowing you're low or normal. Simple interface though, you have 2 buttons. You have the mode one, where you just click through and cycle through the options, hold it to turn it on or off. You have mode memory, so when you turn it back on, it will remember the mode you're on. So that's a really nice feature. You don't have to constantly cycle through them. And then again, total of 8 modes, as you can go low, high within each of those modes. So a nice simple interface and plenty of options here. You can definitely use this as a daytime be seen light, as it's plenty bright with the flash modes, or use it on darker trails if you're doing urban cycling, or short stints on night roads. At only 400 lumens, it's not that bright though. I would recommend going up to 1,000 or more if you're doing a lot of extended nighttime riding. But if you're on a road bike and you just get caught in the darker weather, this is a good option. There also is an $85 600 lumen version, so if you need a little more power and like this form factor, you can upgrade to that. Now let's take a look at the output modes of the light. There are 8 modes to choose from. You can run each beam independently. Here we have the wide beam, and you can run that in low-high. Then you have the low beam, which also has low-high setting, and you can see the run times in general are pretty low, just because of the small size of the integrated battery. It's also dual mode, which can run both LEDs and give you a combined beam, and can give you up to 1 hour runtime in the high mode. There's also 2 flash modes to choose from. You have one that switches between the left-right LED for 8 hours, and then a nighttime flash, which keeps one constant and flashes the other for 3. During the daytime, we recommend using the low flash mode, which alternates between them and gives you the highest runtime. At night, you can use this as your primary light, but at only 400 lumens, it's not that bright, especially for higher speed riding. We recommend keeping this for urban riding or just around town. And because of the run times being so low, you don't want to run this on very long rides, as you'll definitely run out of battery. You can already see here in our video, the red light is on for the low battery setting. And compared to the Phoenix on the right, you can see just how much brighter a 1200 lumen or 1600 lumen light is compared to a 400 lumen light. So you definitely want to choose wisely. The nice thing about the Knog 400 is it's so small and compact. It really looks compact on your handlebar. You don't need big battery. So it's a great alternative for urban riding or people who don't ride at night that often. Now let's compare the Blinder Road with other lights on the market. Here we have the Topeak Headlux 400. So same dual LED design, same output, but you can see very different design methodology. Where the Knog here is very compact but wide, the Topeak is thin but long. So this is great for helmet mounting, where the blinder wouldn't really work without some kind of adapter. But instead, the blinder has the dual LED design that can be run individually and more focused beam, and then the wider beam, while the Topeak can only be run in the dual mode together with a couple constant modes and a flash. So different designs, but a little more compact. So if you're just looking for a flashy light, the Headlux is a good option, but if you want something that can actually illuminate the road, the blinder is a good option. Now we've also seen this USB design before. So here's the Via Pro. So it has a USB directly built in. What's cool about this is there's a buttonless design. But again, this is a single LED and it's more for beam scenes. So similarly priced, but a lot less lumens and much more focused. So this is great if you want to be doing daytime riding and want a daytime visible light. Don't want to worry about cables and have just a simple mount. But a lot less output and different kind of goals than the blinder. The Bontrager ion light is also very popular. It has Bluetooth connectivity, so you can actually see it on your cell phone or your Garmin unit. You can see focus, single LED design, side cutout, Again, it's expensive, I think similarly priced to the Knog here, and a lot less output at only 200 lumen, and simple kind of clasp rubber design as well. But a lot more compact because it's a single LED, so you can see it's essentially half of this, and great for more versatile, compact setups. Now, if you're doing a lot of nighttime riding, I would recommend going up to 1,000 or more lumens, because you really want to see the road. So if you're doing urban riding, this 400 lumens is good, but you can see with the Magicshine RN 1500 here, especially in this beautiful blue, has a lot more output than the 400 lumens that the blinder can put out. So especially as you go up, you can see it's pretty obvious that you just can't compete with it. So I would definitely pick the one that works for you, and there's a lot of options, but what's nice about the blinder, it's very compact and a neat setup, especially for daytime riding. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the Knog 400. What I like about it is that it has an attractive visual design. As with all of the Knog lights, it looks great on your bike and very sleek. You also have an easy to use dual button interface that lets you switch between low, high, or the output mode, so it's very easy to navigate. Also, you have an eye-catching and daytime visible flash, which gives you up to 8 hours of runtime, which is great for daytime use. Some of the cons for the light is the fact that you have low runtimes at the higher lumen outputs. So you're limited to about an hour in the full 400 lumens, so you want to use this with caution for longer rides. Also, the USB connector, although really cool, the way they integrated a swivel mount, is a little bit inconvenient. You can't really place it on all USB ports. You need space underneath it, which is why they included a charging cable. Also, it does require an adapter to use without front mounts, as it does not use a Garmin style mount. Instead, you have to purchase a affordable but separate adapter if you wanted to mount this to a Garmin or GoPro adapter. Taking everything into account, we'd give the Blinder 400 an 8.7 out of 10. It's a bright and stylish headlight that's great for urban use or daytime riding. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at thesweetcyclist. This is The Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.